Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be sharing my best of beauty makeup products for 2018. I've been really bad at doing any monthly favorites for the year 2018, so there were a ton of products that I did try off camera and that I really liked, so I wanted to make sure that I filmed this video and shared my favorites with you guys. Before I get started, I did want to mention there are several products that I'm going to be mentioning today that I actually don't tangibly have because I accidentally threw them out when they were empty. I should have hung on to them just so I could have them here for the camera, but I'll just insert a picture of the product so you know what to look for if you're going out shopping for it. The first thing I want to mention is my new obsession. This is from Face Halo and it is a microfiber dual-sided pad right here, and it is for removing your makeup. All you have to do is add water and then just go to town and remove all your makeup. I have been loving these and I highly recommend them to anyone, especially if you use a lot of makeup on a daily basis like I do. It takes all of it off with most minimal of effort, and again, all you have to use is just water. I really loved this one from e.l.f. This is their daily hydration, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, moisturizer. It's only a few bucks from the drugstore and I was actually amazed by the quality. I would compare it to this Tatcha water moisturizer. I felt like these products were very similar to each other. I liked the Tatcha a little bit better, but the e.l.f. was very similar, especially in what it actually did to my skin. This is also a couple bucks from the drugstore. It's the Garnier Skin Active Moisture Rescue Gel. I just love how this feels on the skin and it applies so like buttery. It just kind of like melts into your skin. I love using this every morning and every night. I did also want to mention this new product my friend shared with me. She sells Plexus, so this is kind of a part of Plexus. This is Joyome, I think that's how you say it, but it's a set. You use one serum every morning and one serum every night, and this the thing I loved about it is it really smooths out the texture that I had on my face. Like I used to get these like little bumps here on the side, kind of like the same area that I would apply my highlighter, and this just really made my skin so smooth feeling, and it was nice because I could put on my makeup on my face and I didn't see a ton of texture, so that's what I really loved about that. Moving on to primers, I actually didn't try a ton of primers this year. Well, last year, 2018, I tried a few, but they were both kind of epic fails for me. And the thing that I just kept going back to is a primer that I've used for a couple of years. It's not even a primer. It's the Nivea Men Sensitive Post Shave Balm. I recommend this thing to every single person who direct messages me and asks for a primer recommendation. If you're a fan of more silicone primers, you might not like this as much. This is more of a sticky, tacky, dewy kind of primer. But the best part about it is it's only a couple bucks from the drugstore and it comes in 3.3 fluid ounces. I've had this same bottle for almost 2 years and I reach for it all the time, almost on a daily basis, and it's just now starting to run out and I'm gonna have to pick up some more. Oh, and I did want to mention another primer that I loved. I don't even think I mentioned it because I didn't do a favorites video from last year, but the Hangover RX primer from Too Faced is the one that smells like coconuts, is very similar to this. So I loved using that. That's one of the products that I threw away when it got empty. Speaking of products I threw away when they got empty, I really liked for foundation the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea liquid foundation. It was more of a medium coverage. I'll go ahead and insert a picture right here. Really did enjoy that foundation, especially for just everyday wear when you want more of a natural looking coverage foundation. I really liked this Benefit Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation. As you can see, I have the mini version right here, but I would totally repurchase this in the bigger size. This is definitely a lighter coverage, and it kind of reminded me of the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. This is perfect for when you want a very almost no makeup look. This is hands down my favorite drugstore foundation that I've ever tried, ever. This is the LA Girl Pro Matte HD High Definition Wear, I think that's what it's called. It just has the best finish. It applies so well, and it is super long wearing. Like, this stuff does not budge. This is a newer foundation. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. It's currently what I'm wearing on my face right now. It's very full coverage. So it's really perfect for when you want a full glam look. And this is super matte, so it's another foundation that you don't really have to set. I really love it. I wouldn't say it's the exact dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation, which is another one of my holy grails for 2018. It's similar, but it's not super exact. I would definitely say the Tarte is like a 10 out of 10, and then the Makeup Revolution is more like an 8 out of 10. So they're similar but not close. But I did love the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. Again, it's full coverage. It's a beautiful matte finish. It's super long wearing. I wore this for almost 24 hours one day, and it still looked absolutely beautiful. Moving on, this is another good drugstore find. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. Here's what it looks like. This one, I found that I did have to set because my oils did peak out towards the end of the day, but everything else about the formula I really, really liked. Moving on to concealers, of course, Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. I don't really have to talk about this much because I did talk about this on camera a lot, but best concealer ever. The dupe that I found for that was the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define concealer. I think I actually prefer this, what's it called? The formula to the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, just because it felt more like natural and hydrating to use on a daily basis. Not as heavy and not as matte as the Shape Tape. This is another one concealer that I like to reach for every day. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, and this is what it looks like. My favorite thing about this, besides the formula, is how fast and quick and easy it is to apply. You just pop off the cap like that. I'm wearing this today, by the way, and you just apply it straight away, and then you buff it out with a sponge. Moving on to setting powders. This has become a new holy grail. This is the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in Translucent. Here is what it looks like. I have been loving this, especially for baking. Another one that I liked is the Kat Von D Lyric. It's like banana powder. I use this more for setting under my under eye. I bought the single replacement that was meant to go into her giant palette with all the contour shades and all the highlighting shades, but I just wanted the one. As you can see, I have hit pan. This is very well loved and does have that nice yellow undertone. And I really enjoyed using this for setting my under eye area. I would say the dupe for the Kat Von D formula is from Wet n Wild. This is their contouring Mega Glow Palette Contour in Dulce de Leche. So here's what it looks like. I don't really use the contour as much, but I do like the contour. I use it mostly for the highlighting side. This is like $3 to $5 from the drugstore. I really love the formula. Again, it's just like the Kat Von D. And I use about the same amount of product for both of them. So if you want to save a couple bucks, go with the Wet n Wild. But the Kat Von D is really nice too. Moving on to brows. I only have a few brow products. In 2018, I did try a ton of different brow products, but I kept getting disappointed, and I kept going back to what I knew, what I loved. It's like, hands down, my ride or die brow pencil. This is from NYX. This is their Precision Brow Pencil, and the shade that I have is Ash Brown. Super love it. So easy to apply, lasts all day, blends out well. No complaints. I also enjoyed the Benefit Cosmetics Brow Contour Pro. Here's what it looks like. If you have never heard of this, it's really cool because you actually have 4 different shades to choose from, 2 highlighting, 2 brow filling. And then I did want to mention this. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. It's the NYX Control Free Clear Brow Gel. Moving on to eyeshadow palettes. There were actually a few new eyeshadow palettes that I purchased this year, but I wasn't overly impressed by them. Like, they weren't eyeshadow palettes that I would be completely raving about. I found myself just reaching for the same palettes over and over again, and they're one of them's new and a few of them are older. But the Jaclyn Hill palette in her collaboration with Morphe, super dirty as you can tell, so you know it's well loved. And my favorite thing about this is her formulas. I feel like a little bit really goes a long way. Like, it doesn't necessarily look like I use them a ton, but I do use them at least once or twice a week. And I love the shade range and selection there. But yes, I love the formulas. Love her formulas. This is a palette that I use almost on a daily basis if I'm not using all of the colors for an eyeshadow look. I'm using a few of them for highlighting or for transition. This is the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. Look at all these beautiful matte shades right here. This is a palette I reach for almost every single day. I just love it. And I know I keep saying I reach for this every single day. So it sounds a little bit redundant, but it's the truth. That's why I'm recommending these products to you guys, because they're what I use a lot of, and they get the most love. This one is a newer one that came out this year. This is their Norvina palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Here is the colors that it came with. I just love this look for when I'm feeling more spunky, but there's also a ton of nice neutral shades in here that if I use them alone without any pops of color, they actually are so beautiful. There is a ton of kickback and fallout with this palette, but you really can't beat the formulas. And this is a palette that is a little bit pricier, but it is worth every single penny. There is an eyeliner that I did want to mention, but I don't have it with me because I threw it away. But I'll go ahead and insert a picture right here. It is the eyeliner from Stila. This is definitely one of my favorite eyeliners ever to be tried. I think I even like it better than the Kat Von D eyeliner. Speaking of the Kat Von D eyeliner, I do have it. She has a few different eyeliners right now, but this is just the regular felt tip, not the really wide one. The newer one that she came out with this year is just the original one. And then it's just black. I think it's called Trooper Black, but here is what it looks like. This is probably the most long wearing eyeliner I've ever tried. This one by Fenty Beauty is also another favorite. This one had a learning curve for me because the way that it applies, it like comes out like a lot of product. So I had to learn how to apply it. I started with the wing first and filled that in, and then I went ahead and did above the lash line, and then that kind of helped it dry down a little bit before I opened up my eye, because when I used it the first couple of times, it would get stuck here on the crease because it seemed like it was a slow drying formula. But once it does dry, it does last a long time. It's super pigmented, and it seems like the pen itself, the formula, doesn't dry up super fast like other ones can. So that's what I liked about that. This one is from Tarte. This is their Kitten eyeliner pen. Obviously all my eyeliners from this video today are eyeliner pens, but I actually really liked this. It just went on smoothly, and I used this for so long. I think it was a full 3 months that I used this before it started to dry out. And then the last one I wanted to mention, this one you might not have heard of, the makeup line. It's called Lime Life by Alcone. A friend sent this to me. She sells Lime Life, and I loved it. This is definitely an eyeliner that I use when I want a more natural look or almost a no makeup look because of how thin the applicator is. It just gives that beautiful, it's almost like you tight lined your lash line instead of put eyeliner on top of it. It was so beautiful, so smooth. It's not as pigmented, but it's still, I don't know, it's just that perfect eyeliner for when you want to look more natural. Okay, we're almost to the halfway point. Mascaras, there is one that I no longer have with me, but I would totally recommend. It's from Stila. Here's the picture right here. I think if I had to pick one mascara that was my current favorite, I think I would go with that one. It just gives you instant volume. You can build it up. I will say it does flake a little bit towards the end of the day, so that's kind of my only complaint, but I really loved it. The next three I want to talk about, they're all from Benefit Cosmetics. I have the Bad Girl Bang mascara right here. I have the Roller Lash right here, and the They're Real. All of these three mascaras I love so much. I think hands down they are my favorite high-end mascaras, and I love all of them for different reasons. The They're Real just really separates and just gives you beautiful length. I would say the Roller Lash gives you the most volume, and it does kind of give your lashes a little bit of a curl, especially for me. I have really short lashes, and I did notice that it seemed to lengthen and curl. And then the Bad Girl Bang, I feel like it kind of combined volume and length, but I really just loved the wand. It just applies really cool. This is the mascara that I'm wearing today. A couple drugstore options. This is from, I think, L'Oreal, Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. This used to be one of my holy grail products, but as I've tried more mascaras, I kind of liked this less and less. I still like it, but I don't like love it as much. I feel like the formula dries out really fast, but this is a really good mascara if you want instant volume. This one is also from L'Oreal. It's their Telescopic Carbon Black. This will separate your lashes and give it super long length like no one's business. Moving on to lashes, I really only have one pair that I wanted to mention. I'm actually completely out of eyelash glue, and I've been out of eyelash glue for a while, so I haven't worn fall season in a really long time, obviously. So one pair that I really loved for 2018, I wore it in a lot of videos. This is from Ardell. This is the Demi Wispies Studio Effects lashes. Really love them. You can get about 10 wears out of each pair as long as you take good care of them. I'd recommend basically any lash from Ardell. Moving on to bronzers, I have two that I really have been loving, and I feel like they're very similar to each other. So the first one is from Too Faced. This is their Dark Chocolate Soleil Deep Tan Bronzer, and as you can see, this one was very well loved. This is more of a warm undertone, so it's great for bronzing, yeah. And then this one is from Physicians Formula. This is the Butter Bronzer, and I have Deep, I think it's just shade Deep. So I felt like this one is very similar to Too Faced, except it had a slightly cooler undertone to it. So I love this for contour. I basically wear this on a daily basis, and for both of these products, a little bit really goes a long way. They don't apply patchy whatsoever. They blend out beautifully. They stay put on your face all day, and the colors are not overly cool or overly warm, and they're just so good smelling. Like this one smells like chocolate, and this one smells like the beach. So two of my favorite things. To blushes, I actually didn't try a lot of blushes in 2018. I don't even think I bought one new blush in 2018. I feel like the blushes that I have right now, they're just super pigmented, so you don't have to use a lot of product. So I haven't even needed to go buy new blush. But I did want to mention, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is from Jaclyn Hill and Becca Cosmetics. This is her little face palette. I love every single shade in this palette. The brown one I don't really use as much, but I love the two blushes and I love the two highlighters. So this can also count as a holy grail for highlighters. This Baked Blush by Laura Geller, I got Brighton Boysenberry. Here's what it looks like. I got this as kind of a freebie from an Ulta order a long time ago. A little bit really goes a long way with this, and it's just so beautiful. Whenever I'm wearing like a berry or a burgundy lip, I feel like that it just complements it really well. What is this called? Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush from Tarte Cosmetics. I got this as a birthday freebie, and I have loved using this. This is more of a paler pink, so depending on what makeup look I'm going for, I'll reach for this a lot. But as you can see, I just hit pan. This is a super long wearing blush. Onto highlighters. I've kind of talked about a lot of these already on my channel, so I won't belabor why I love them. But obviously I just mentioned the Becca and Jaclyn Hill highlighter, but this was another honorable mention. This is from Wet n Wild. The shade is, I don't even know because it's like blurred off, but it's kind of the rose gold shade right here. This is such a beautiful, I'll go ahead and swatch it for you guys. This is just such a beautiful drugstore highlighter. It's more of a understated sheen, so I like to wear it when I want a more subtle highlighter look. This next one is from Maybelline. This is their Master Chrome in the gold shade, Molten Gold. And I'll go ahead and swatch this too. This one is a lot more buttery and a lot more like wha-bam in your face if you want instant drama. Very, did I already say glittery? But this is beautiful. This was my favorite in the summer when I was a little bit more tan. I just really loved how glitterly, it's not even a word, glitterly. This is Heart Defensor's collaboration with e.l.f. I really love that it had a mirror right there, but there's a lighter shade and a darker shade. I always combine both shades together, but here they are swatched on the back of my hand. I just like to take that on a highlighter brush and swirl them together. I would say I use this more when I'm going for makeup looks that have more of a cool undertone. I feel like that complements it really well. But these are very pigmented, very dramatic, very buttery, very long lasting, and it's by e.l.f., so it's super affordable. So there are several setting sprays that I threw out the containers, so I'm gonna mention those first. I think hands down my favorite setting spray from the drugstore is from Catrice. So here's a picture of it, and I got the matte version. My favorite thing about this, besides the formula, was the pump on this thing. It was definitely like a high-end type of packaging. Every time I went to spray it, it gave a very even mist. Another one that I no longer have with me is from NYX. This is their matte spray. Not like my favorite setting spray, but as far as drugstore goes, it's definitely a good one. Next is from Milani. This is their matte spray. I feel like the Milani formula was very similar to the Catrice formula. So if you're a fan of Milani, which is supposed to be the dupe for Urban Decay All-Nighter setting spray, you'll like the Catrice as well. Another one is from MAC. This is their setting spray. I don't even know. Like, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't even know what it's called. But it's by MAC, and I really enjoyed using it. This one, I really liked how unique this one was. This is from Morphe. This is their continuous setting mist spray. It's aerosol. I've never used another setting spray that had an aerosol applicator before. I love it. It's a very even, fine application each time. I did go through this relatively quickly though, so that's the only bummer. And then of course, I don't really need to talk about this because everyone and their mothers talked about this, but this is the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. It really doesn't get better than this, guys. This is the holy grail setting spray of all time, at least for me. Another one that actually I was pleasantly surprised with is from Wet n Wild. This is their Photo Focus Matte Finish Setting Spray. I really liked this formula. And it's only like $5 from the drugstore. I think I liked this as much as the Urban Decay one. I don't know. And it only comes in 1.52 fluid ounces. So you do go through it pretty quickly, but for the price, I think that's just amazing. Another shout out is to the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I actually use this container for another setting spray that I didn't like as much. Like the pump got clogged up, so I transferred it to this container. That's why it's a little bit cloudy here at the bottom. The Smashbox formula itself is very clear, but I did like the Smashbox primer. I don't necessarily know if it was so amazing I would pay the price tag for it again. Like, I wouldn't repurchase it, but I mean, I didn't really have any complaints for it besides the price. A few lip products that I wanted to mention. I didn't try a ton of new ones for 2018, but there were a few that I did want to mention because I was impressed with the formula. So that's kind of the case for all of these lip products I have in my hand. Makeup Forever Professional Paris. I don't even know what shade this is. It just says 105. I got this in a set of other lippies, and I really loved the formula. This is probably the most long-wearing liquid lipstick formula I've ever tried. This one was super hydrating from Tarte. This is the mini version of, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's called like Rainforest of the Sea. I could be wrong. But they come in these little blue tubes right here. And the shade I got, which was Beach Babe, so it's a nude shade, but I really loved the formula. These reminded me of the NYX butter lipsticks, but a little bit better. Very creamy, very smooth, hydrating, and they smell really good. This one is from Huda Beauty. This is her liquid matte liquid lipstick, and the shade is Trendsetter. This is another liquid lipstick that I got in kind of a minis set, and I really liked it. I wouldn't say it's a nude. It's more of a mauve, darker shade, but I really like the formula. I love how smooth it applies, and you can build it throughout the day if you need to like touch up on the application. The last one for lips is from Dose of Colors. This is their Knock on Wood shade. It's a very cool brown undertone. So I wore this a lot in the fall. It's very long wearing. It's very comfortable, very pigmented, very creamy feeling. It makes me want to try other liquid lipsticks from Dose of Colors. And finally, we come to the last mentions of Best of Beauty for 2018. I'm going to start with this eyeshadow brush. I've kind of talked about it a little bit on camera. This is the Morphe M441 eyeshadow brush. I used it for the look that I did on my eyes today, so that's why the tip looks a little bit green, but this is the best eyeshadow brush for applying your crease color by far, just because of the tapered edge that it has. And because it's from Morphe, it's super affordable. Next is the e.l.f. This is like their giant kabuki brush. I've had this for years and the quality is just there. Like I keep washing it and trying to take good care of it. So I think I've been going on like 3 years of owning this. I love to use this for my setting powder when I'm setting my foundation, and I love to use this to kind of buff out any harsh lines from my contour or from my blush. I use this every single day and I love it. The last thing I want to mention are some sponges. I apologize that these are a little bit dirty. I did use them today. Let's start with this one from e.l.f. This is just, I don't even know what it's called. It's just a beauty sponge from e.l.f. I know they have several different ones, but this is what it looks like. So if you're looking in the drugstore, just get the one that looks pinkish purplish. So I like to use the flat edge down here for my foundation, and I like it when I apply my full coverage foundations because I feel like it just applies so beautifully. The main reason why I love this sponge in particular is the application. Like it really just smooths out my foundation, smooths out my concealer. I use this a lot for baking too, and I just feel like it grabs on the product and it just applies so beautifully. I feel like it does suck up or soak up a lot of product, but the way that it applies onto your face is just so beautiful. This one is not like my ride or die or anything like that, but it is another good one. This is from Juno Beauty. I saw this one on Nikki Tutorial's channel. I would say this velvet sponge is great for if you want your makeup products where you just take a little bit of it and it will go a long way, because this does not soak up, I keep saying suck up. This doesn't really soak up any of your product, hardly. If you have a more medium coverage foundation and you want it to be more full, then you would definitely want to use this. It just kind of sits on top of the sponge. It doesn't absorb. I found that it was a little bit harder to blend my products with this sponge, but the coverage is amazing. My last best of beauty product for 2018 is from Morphe. This is their contour sponge. I really love how soft this is. I really love the surface of it. I feel like this is kind of the in-between of the e.l.f. sponge and the Juno sponge. It doesn't soak up too much product and it applies really nicely. I liked to use this especially for my under eye, setting my concealer, and then this flat edge right here for when I wanted to chisel out my cheekbones and kind of bake down there. And it's from Morphe, so again, super affordable. That, guys, wraps up this best of beauty for 2018 video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below and let me know what videos you would want to see in 2019. I love you guys, and I hope you have the best rest of the week, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.